Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. That's why we're coast to coast, by the way. Someone made a joke the other day. They were like, sarcastically, can you please say where you guys are from next time? Ha, 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 ha. So that's why we do that. We're coast to coast. Anyway, we've got player props here for you guys on a decent slate, 5 games on this one here on Thursday after a pretty big one on Wednesday, although one of those games was canceled with the Dubs, who had some team issues that is in the news. We'll skip past that. But either way, we also have best bets up on top of our player props video right here. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page and continue to follow along all season with us. Also want you to head to thelines.com. Use that prop finder tool that we have on the NBA tab there to make sure that you can see all the bets and juice available to you from all these books giving us bets this season. Nate, let's go ahead and get right into your first NBA player prop for tonight.
Yeah, I tip my cap to the LA Clippers, and then I go right back to what I was trying to do 2 nights ago, which is ride SGA, the MVP. As top scorer here, you can get it maybe lower, minus 170 is where it's at FanDuel, but I saw minus 160 at DraftKings. Or you can just take his points prop at 31 points, 31 and a half here. Because I don't think with Utah's balance that anybody is going to touch SGA in terms of the scoring here if this is a close game. Markkanen is the closest guy in terms of his prop. His prop is 7 points lower at 24 and a half. And OKC's road defense is pretty good. I mean, pretty damn good. And Chet guarding the rim probably going to limit Markkanen to under 26, even if he does, he's not like a 30-point scorer. SGA scores 30 in his sleep. And last 5 against Utah, 32.5 points per game. Very efficient. Earlier this season, 34-7 in just 28 minutes. Blew out the Jazz. But the Jazz are playing fantastic ball now. Offensively, especially. That's why the total's at 244. Maybe climbing a little higher. So we should see a good environment. Every time SGA is called upon to match match an MVP candidate or another great team, he usually comes through. I mean, the exceptions were early season dud against Denver and last time out against the Clippers, who, again, tip my cap. Ty Lue, great job containing SGA, who was on a back-to-back there. But the only time he's had under 30 points after posting a negative rating was against Denver. After a loss, he's averaging 32.5 points per game this season still. And yeah, again, in this matchup, 38.5 a game against Utah on 35% usage last season, 2 matchups, 19 free throw attempts in both of them. And that brings me to the Jazz. While their offense has been fantastic in this 6-game win streak here, defense still giving up 6 most free throws, 6 most fast break points. They limit 3-point attempts, and their defensive rating is great in part because of maybe some opponent poor shooting. SGA is kind of going to flummox all that. Like he's going to score in transition. He's going to score without being assisted, and he's going to get to the free throw line. So I trust him to keep doing what he's doing here and get 30 plus.
Yeah, I like it too. I looked at it as well. I didn't see the top score bet. That does seem really good at minus 160 with the disparity between his points prop and Markkanen's, like you said, with like 7 points basically. So I like that number with the 7-point disparity and expectation. The 31 and a half seems actually kind of low in a game with such a high total. And it's not like the Jazz are like particularly good at stopping him or anybody like him necessarily. So I don't know. Like you said, there's so much balance on their team too. Like guys getting no more than 23 minutes, but so much efficiency and so much output. It's like overs. There's going to be a lot of points, and a lot of them are going to be coming from SGA for sure. The other guy I like to be getting a lot of points in that game is Jalen Williams. And I'm going to tack on the assists as well for J-Dub. So it's 24.5 for the points and assist combo, going over that. I like this is a really good matchup for him, and he's been getting a bit more usage as ball handler and not just off ball guy or even screen and roll guy or what have you. He's definitely been a bit more, like I said, initiating. He's gotten a few more minutes per game over the last 5. Josh Giddey's minutes have gone down about 3 minutes as well. That's the correlation too between sort of the second passer on the floor outside of SGA. Besides Josh Giddey, who that really was like was looking always to facilitate, obviously. And now we've got J-Dub, that needs to look at that a bit more. The Utah is allowing the 7th most points per game to his position, as well as the 4th most assists per game. 2 small forwards, which I'm calling him a small forward. like there's a lot of fluidity on that offense, but that's definitely the spot on the floor that he is, right? Is that sort of extended wing and then in for him and attacking as well. He's gone over this number in 7 of his last 10 with 20 a game and 6 assists per game as well. He's had 9 potential assists, which has gone up from the 7.5 or so that he was looking at prior to the last 5 games, because that's when Josh Giddey was still getting, like I said, about 26, 27 minutes per game and eating up a lot of those assists for him, which have gone down for Giddey as well, and has some lower projections for this one also. So there's just a direct correlation there. Utah gives up plenty of assists. They don't give up plenty of rebounds. Obviously, they're one of the better rebounding teams in the league. So I kind of stayed away, even though the PRA isn't too scary for me. I thought the way that he's diming up was really what I tried to attack with J Dub in this one.
Yeah, it's interesting value here as I look at the prop finder tool that like his assist prop is 5.5. His points is 19.5. And usually they give you like another another tack on top of that. So it would
Yeah.
be like 25.5 or higher for the points and assists. But yeah, that's some good value to combo those for J Dub again, who's playing a huge facilitating role without Giddey. Yeah, you nailed that. And taking on really that secondary scoring off option. If SGA does struggle, like he'll be right there initiating things if Utah sells out to stop SGA. So yeah, I like both of them. One is sure to hit. If two bet, one sure to hit.
Sure, true.
Sticking with Vince Williams, and the Memphis Grizzlies, who we mentioned we like to get 100 points here. Very low team total for them because everybody's out. But that means guys like Vince are going to continue to get the run. And they signed him a week ago to a 3-year contract, so he is now part of their plans. They waived Bismack Biyombo, going to play more with Xavier Tillman and Triple J in the front court, and lean on guys at the 3 like Vince, who in his last 2 has played 37 minutes a game, scored 20.5 points, 7.5 rebounds. So I'll take over 18.5 points and rebounds for him. The juice is a little higher than if you just take his 12.5 points. But I mean, tacking on 6 rebounds for a guy who is extremely athletic, averages 11 rebounds per 100 possessions this season. I think it's good value when you follow the minutes here. His usage rate was 15% or lower in 15 straight games until Desmond Bane got injured. Now it's 23% in these last 2. It makes sense, right? I mean, nobody else out there to soak up the usage. Coincidentally, his last usage spike was against Minnesota in garbage time, his 17 garbage time minutes. But yeah, he should get the run tonight. You look at his last 4 without Bane. I mean, the first one is game 82 last year, where he got 48 minutes and certainly cruised past this prop. But also earlier this year in just 28 minutes against Houston, 10.7 rebounds. And then the last 2, as I mentioned, with Triple J and Xavier Tillman battling those Twin Towers, you expect Memphis to try to get some offense going on the wing for sure. And I just think Vince will be a big part of that.
Yeah. I don't know what you consider. I guess you could consider him a shooting guard. I mean, he plays from all over, and he's big, dude. He's a big dude, width wise as well. So he can guard a lot of positions, and I don't know what to do. Like I said, like shooting guards, they're good against Minnesota. Small forwards, way worse against. And like I keep saying, I would consider him more of a small forward. I'm laddering him. To be honest with you, you can get him on FanDuel at 20 plus points for plus 650 and like ladder him in between all the way up if you want. You can take like 14 points on DraftKings, 18, like that kind of stuff. You can ladder however you want to. I'll probably do it with like a couple, take a full unit and put it on a ladder with him as well on his alt props, because he's the guy that he's the guy now. Like he's Desmond Bane now, right? And whatever you consider Desmond Bane, where he was a shooting point, the primary guard. That's what they call him in, I believe it's Dallas. They don't use the term shooting guard or point guard. They use the term primary guard now. And that's what I would consider almost Vince Williams, not necessarily like quite as much as the playmaker, but like put him in position to score. That's what Jacob Gilliard's job is, for instance, when he's on the court, right? So that's why I love the usage that we're going to get from Vince here. And I'll chase some alt lines with him as well. Because yeah, we both have that bet. Another one we both love for sure. Let me close it out with an under for IQ for Emmanuel Quickly. I think it's a bit high, and I'm following the trend here. So it's 19.5 points. That's where we're going to see it. Obviously, without Pascal as well now, like I was saying yesterday, you're going to see IQ at about 18.5, 19.5. he was a decent underplay against Miami. I mean, great underplay because it hit, but ahead of time, it was a good look as well for that because of the way that Miami plays, which is very similar to how Chicago plays, right? Miami limits point guards to like the seventh fewest. Chicago limits them to the fewest. And that's direct result of Alex Caruso. And then obviously Miami, Spoelstra, and their good defensive guards as well, even Kyle Lowry in there helping on the point guards. But they both give up assists to the point guard position. They're both in the bottom 10 and allowing assists to PGs because they are pressuring the ball out of the PG's hands, which is, obviously just forces them to find other guys. And if those other guys hit their shots, then you're good to go. And I look, that's what happened last game. Gary Trent hit his shots. That's why shooting guards do a lot better against Chicago as well. They hit their threes. They get more threes. They're Chicago's in the bottom 10 defending shooting guard threes, defending their points, all that kind of stuff because of everything we're saying. Like the game theory is the pressure pushes the ball out of the point guard's hands into other players who are going to be open more around the perimeter, etc. And so that's what happened with IQ with this. I mean, look, he still took 16 shots against Miami, went 6 for 16. This is the second leg of a back-to-back. It was a real nice sort of like win one for the team. Yay, rah, rah. Pascal's gone, but let's rally around this together and like come together to win a blowout win against Miami here. And yes, IQ didn't get to have to play quite as many minutes in that one because it did end up being a blowout. But if anything, I would see Chicago like not necessarily having their way, but I do think that this is going to be a win that they can pull out by like 8-ish points, to be honest, with Chicago coming out with that rest and this just a big unknown at this point. Like, yeah, guys like RJ and Gary Trent are going to get more shots now. They're all going to get more shots. Even IQ is going to probably be at least 15 field goal attempts once again in this game, but I don't think they're going to be good looks. And he got a decent amount of, 2 free throws yesterday. He was 3 for 6 from deep. That's not going to happen against Chicago as well if he's coming off the dribble anyway. So I feel good about the under 20 for him because I wanted to take an over in general, but I don't. This one just doesn't seem like there's much precedence for it. And if I had to project my own thing here, it's that it's going to go a bit more under.
It's actually 20.5, but juiced up. I mean, you can get the best odds at Caesars at minus 109, though, on the 20.5.
Okay.
So I'm fine with it, but I think what I would do is target just Caruso because he's going to be on him all night. And Caruso's props are crazy low as he's, obviously more known for his defense, but double-digit points in 8 of his last 11, 10.5 points, 3.2 assists in that span. I'll take 12.5 points assists for Caruso. I mean, everything is low and exploitable, including the threes, which he's been hitting at a pretty consistent clip. But yeah, against the Raptors on a back-to-back, Raptors defense that's kind of fallen off since the trade, I'll just make that a bonus bet for us here. Pick number 5.
With it, yeah, let's go. Let's get it. I'm on board with Caruso with you. It's actually what led me to start looking at like, well, yeah, I knew why you liked him when you were talking about it before the show was because of the minutes he's for sure going to get, and that led me to go. He's going to be in there to actually stop IQ, and he's going to be successful. So that is all the time we have for you on the play of props here. As I said, we also have the best bets video up as we're bringing those to you each and every weekday. So go ahead and subscribe to the page so you can follow along all season. And until we see you next, happy betting.